Welcome to Makane, Too Many Losing Heroines, where love stories go to die in a flaming dumpster fire. You thought you were signing up for a sweet rom-com with charming characters and heart-melting moments, but instead you're stuck in a spiral of cringeworthy missteps, failed romances, and more red flags than a toxic dating app. The show isn't just a train wreck, it's a slow-motion collision between two speeding trucks loaded with fireworks. But here's the kicker, that's exactly why it's so damn entertaining. Now we're gonna dive deep into the swirling chaos of Makane, dissecting why this rom-com fails at almost every possible romantic angle, while still somehow keeping you glued to your screen. Let's talk about our so-called protagonist, though calling him that feels a little too generous. He's the epicenter of this disaster, a human vacuum of common sense, emotional awareness, and frankly, any trait you'd expect from a romantic lead. Picture a protagonist who possesses all the social grace of a potato. No, actually, that's insulting to potatoes. At least potatoes have some value. The main character, on the other hand, has an uncanny ability to make you wonder how he's even managed to survive this long, let alone attract a literal harem of devoted, lovesick heroines. In episode 3, we get a perfect snapshot of the main character's utter obliviousness. A heroine is pouring her heart out to him in a dramatic confession, and what does he do? He panics and walks into a wall. Yes, you heard that right, he literally can't handle human emotions to the point where basic spatial awareness goes out the window. It's as if his brain shuts down the second someone expresses romantic interest. In episode 5, the sheer density of the main character's brain reaches new heights. One of the heroines slips him a love letter. Instead of realizing that maybe, just maybe, someone has feelings for him, he glances at the letter and casually mistakes it for a restaurant flyer. Not only does he brush it off, but he even starts wondering out loud what kind of meal deals he can get from this mysterious restaurant. It's moments like these that make you want to reach for the screen, shake the main character and scream, "Are you even alive in there?" His inability to connect the dots between basic romantic cues and reality is so staggering that you almost feel bad for him. Almost. The worst part of it all is that his ineptitude doesn't just affect his love life, if you can even call it that. It causes collateral damage to everyone around him. Every episode is a slow-motion car crash where the heroines crash and burn, all thanks to his astonishing level of cluelessness. He's the kind of guy, if you handed him a map of an X marking the treasure, would still get lost somehow, ended up digging a hole in the middle of the desert. Watching him bungle through romantic situations isn't just frustrating, it's a goddamn spectacle. His conversations with the heroines are, without fail, a series of missed opportunities and awkward silences. Instead of responding to their heartfelt confessions or even acknowledging their existence, he'll mumble something about how cloudy the weather looks or how he forgot to turn the stove off. The show treats this as comedic gold, but after a while, it starts to feel like the main character is intentionally dodging every opportunity for romance, with the grace of a man avoiding jury duty, and somehow this dude has a line of girls pining for him. Anna is the childhood friend of the main character. She's the embodiment of unrequited love that borders on self-destruction. If there were a award for the most tragic, hopelessly devoted character in anime, Anna would win it 10 times over. She's been in love with the main character since childhood, but instead of moving on when it becomes painfully obvious that he's too dumb to notice, she digs her heels in and keeps trying and trying and trying. Watching Anna throw herself at the main character time and time again is like watching someone try to push a boulder uphill, only for it to roll back down and crush them at the last second. In episode 2, we witness one of the most cringe-worthy moments in the series. Anna musters up all her courage to give the main character a carefully prepared Valentine's chocolate, only for him to accidentally drop it on the ground as he walks away. And then, to add insult to injury, he steps on it. It's a tragic masterpiece of misconnection, perfectly encapsulating Anna's entire arc in one painful moment. Despite all the signs that her love is not just unrequited, but borderline futile, Anna keeps coming back for more. You almost want to root for her because how much she invests emotionally, but at the same time, you just want to tell her to run. It's like watching someone walk into a burning building with a bucket of water, thinking they can save it. The longer the series goes on, the more Anna's persistence feels less like love and more like psychological study and masochism. The main character isn't just oblivious, he is actively detrimental to her well-being. By the time we reach the midpoint of the series, Anna's attempts to get his attention have reached tragic proportions. She bakes for him, she helps him study, she's always there for him, yet every single effort goes unnoticed. Anna might as well be shouting into the void. Her story becomes less about whether she'll win him over and more about whether she'll survive with any dignity intact. Her constant rejection is a harsh reminder that sometimes love isn't just enough, especially when the person you love is too brain dead to notice. Lemon is a character whose affection for the main character manifests in the form of competitive, almost violent behavior. In typical tsundere fashion, she can't express her feelings directly, so instead, she resorts to verbal abuse and physical challenges. Lemon's entire romantic strategy revolves around outperforming the main character in various sports and games, as if the winning against him will somehow make him realize she's the one. Spoiler alert, it doesn't, but damn if she doesn't keep trying. Lemon's story is one of the constant frustration. She wants to connect with him, but she is so emotionally constipated that her only outlet is yelling and hitting things. Her feelings are buried under layers of anger, pride, and denial. And while there's a certain charm in watching her struggle to express herself, it's also a little sad. Lemon is trapped in the endless loop of aggression and regret, doomed to keep trying the same tactics with no success. If the main character ever did realize she liked him, you'll probably just think she wanted to race again. Chica, the quiet vice president of the literature club, is perhaps the most tragic of all heroines. Unlike others who at least make some sort of attempt to win him over, Chica stays in the background, hoping that the mere presence will be enough for him to notice her. Spoiler, it's not. Chica's love for him is quiet, understated, and unfortunately for her, completely invisible. In episode 8, we get a glimpse of Chica's heartbreakingly passive approach to love. She brings a book to the park, one she knows he loves, and positions herself in the line of sight, hoping that he'll notice her and strike up her conversation. He walks right past her without so much of a second glance. It's one of those scenes where you can feel her quiet despair building up as she realizes that a strategy of subtlety is once again going unnoticed. Chica's approach to romance is lessened in futility. She spends most of the series quietly pining for the main character, convinced that one day he'll notice her, but the sad reality is he never does. Chica's silence, her reserved demeanor, and her refusal to be more aggressive all works against her. Unlike the other heroines who actively, even if disastrously, try to make him see them, Chica's method is to wait, and waiting is one of the things you should never do in a rom-com. Her character arc is the slowest burn of them all, but it's also the most painful. Chica is the kind of character who represents the quieter side of love, the kind where you don't want to intrude or force yourself on the person you like, but in a series as chaotic and ridiculous as this one, it's a death sentence. Chica is left in the background, her feelings completely unnoticed, while louder, more assertive heroines take the spotlight. In conclusion, this series is a rom-com disaster like no other. From the main character's staggering obliviousness to the heroine's horrible love quest, the show excels in making you cringe, laugh, and occasionally shout at your screen of frustration. This is not your typical romantic anime. It is something for the books.